Reactions have been pouring in from experts around the world on what is or has unfolded in Syria, and the situation still remains extremely volatile. Take a look at some of these reactions.
The umbrella that all of the anti-Assad forces were under now raises the question: what will happen in the future? How is there will be an interfighting between these groups? We saw this before in Idlib. After they controlled the city, there were intra-fighting between rebel groups led by HTS and other groups in the city. Let's hope that maybe Syria will have a different scenario this time.
So what's happening now is that the Assad regime, even though has crushed this country, has made the right choice in the last day, in the last hours. If the Assad regime would have fought for the capital of Damascus, of Syria, and would have destroyed the capital in this fighting, we would have seen another Syria. But by choosing to leave the country, or fleeing and opening the way for negotiations and a peaceful surrender between the Syrian rebels and the remaining of the Assad regime, now we have a more smooth transition, probably. And the bureaucrats and the technocrats of the Assad regime will probably play a role in this transition period. So by surrendering peacefully, there is now a bigger hope for Syria to end this conflict peacefully and to do not have a spillover, to not have acts of revenge. And especially the Alawite minority in the coastal region of Syria who supported the Assad regime to the last day now have a more secure position with the peaceful surrender. And I can expect that the Syrian rebels will coordinate with the technocrats and bureaucrats of the Assad regime to make this transition as smooth as possible, because they need their capabilities to run a state. Even though the Syrian rebels have shown their capabilities, even though they have the institutions, it's always good to have some technocrats and bureaucrats who knows how things run and who can help in the transition period.
Could, on one hand, the positive is that Iran has been very, very weakened as a result of Israel's strikes on Iran and, of course, their proxies, Hezbollah and Hamas down in Gaza. You know, these might be different sides here. You're talking about Shia, you're talking about Sunni, all these different parties. But at the end of the day, Iran is the head of the octopus, and that still remains our greatest threat. But as you said, we do have to pay attention to this new reality. We do have to take into consideration the fact that some of these Sunni-led groups in Syria perhaps will turn their attention towards us. We know that they're enemies of Iran, but they are not a friend of the state of Israel. You can make the argument that certain Kurdish groups who are Western-backed, backed by the United States, definitely have common interests with the state of Israel. But if you're talking about the HDS, if you're talking about the rebels there supported by the Turkish regime, they certainly don't have the interests of the state of Israel or the Western world on their minds. So we have to pay attention very, very carefully to the spiraling situation there in Syria.
Lavrov has characterized any opposition to Bashar al-Assad as basically ISIS and al-Qaeda. So I don't think we need pay any mind to him. But the reports are that Russia, I've seen satellite photographs showing the Russian base at Tartus, the naval base, is empty. They ordered their ships to put to sea and have basically vacated their only naval base in the Mediterranean. We've also had reports that Iran has ordered its Revolutionary Guard officers who command the basic ethnic militias that have been raised in Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan to actually be the cannon fodder for the war on behalf of Assad. They've ordered their officers to leave the country. They just don't want to lose any more of them. So I think they've kind of recognized that Syria as a functioning partner of them or a proxy of them, that just doesn't exist anymore.